Well, how y'all doing? It's PawPaw again. Well, they about to start all that impeachment stuff in the Senate, which means I can't be listening to that and talking to you at the same time. But I sure did want to get this sweet potato pie done. Had a lot of people ask me after I did that pumpkin pie to do a sweet potato pie. So I'm going to read to you what the ingredients are, but every time I use an ingredient, I'll put at the bottom of the screen what it is. And I have to laugh at this one feller on the peanut butter cookies. He says, "Well, PawPaw, what temperature do I bake them at?" You know? So you didn't tell us what temperature. And it's so funny. I told him, I said, "Well, you need to watch that video again." Because at the very beginning I said, "Whoop! That's the sound of the oven preheated to 350 degrees. Well, in this case, we're actually preheating to 300. We'll be baking a sweet potato pie at 300 degrees. And what we're going to need is if you don't want to use real sweet potatoes and cut them and peel them and mash them and boil them and steam them and all that by yourself, then you get a big old can of them, and that's what I did to make it easier here. Because I take my sweet potatoes, scrub them, cut the bad spots off, cut them up into chunks, and I put them in my steamer, and I steam them until they're soft, and then I eat them peels and all because they're good for you. Anyway, the ingredients in this is a can of sweet potatoes, a half a cup of sugar goes in the mix, and a 1/4 cup sprinkled on top of it after it's mixed up. 2 eggs, a half a stick of butter, which is 4 tablespoons, a 1/4 cup of milk, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and it calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, which I don't have, so I'm going to double up on the cinnamon, so there. That, or I might use pumpkin spice, I don't know. Whatever, it's my pie. A pinch of salt, and I learned in my pumpkin pies that when it was runny, if you add a little bit of cornstarch, it thickens it up, and that pie stands up big and proud. And that's so I experimented with that in my second pumpkin pie, and that worked a lot better. So if I find this mixes up really runny, I'm going to add me a teaspoon of cornstarch to it. And we're going to bake this for an hour. And a buddy of mine down there in Pavo, Georgia, sent me some pecans. So I'm going to add a few pecans on top of this thing. I like pecans on a sweet potato pie. Reminds me of when my mama used to make a big old casserole type. It'd be sweet potato pie, where it'd be sweet potatoes all mixed up with the seasonings. Then it'd have pecans in it, and it'd have raisins in it and marshmallows on top. Oh, that's some good old country cooking right there. Well, all right, we're going to get on to this, and this time instead of using a graham cracker crust, I'm going to use your regular, dough crust. I buy them frozen, 73 cents a piece. I ain't fooling with making pie crust for 73 cents. So I'm letting the pie crust thaw out. Like I said, I've got my oven preheated. And now then, we're going to just start adding ingredients. Well, I may have a few minutes where I can talk to you while I do this. It's 12:05 Central Time. This is Tuesday, January 21st. First day of the impeachment trial. So I may have a few minutes. Alright, a can of sweet potatoes, and that was a 29-ounce can. And a half a cup of sugar. Two eggs. A half a stick of butter. Let's see if that's softened up yet. No, it ain't soft enough. I'm going to have to soften that up. 1/4 cup of milk, a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Looks good. I like vanilla. Give a little more. There we go. 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. So here's my cinnamon. And 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. So there, that's took care of both of them. And a pinch of salt. Alright, a pinch of salt. And we'll mix that up, and then maybe I can add that butter to it. I couldn't wait. It smells so good sitting there. It's still warm. A little cornstarch might have helped it. Man, it's so good. This is the next morning. Now the pies had plenty of time to cool. You know, I always say, let it cool before you cut it. Heck, how am I supposed to let it cool when it smells so good? So, here we are the next morning. That was good. Now, I'm going to tell y'all what, I don't know if I'll ever make another pecan pie again after this sweet potato pie. Thank you to all them people out there that said, "PawPaw, make a sweet potato pie." See, that does hold up a lot better. And I'm using a fork and not with them serving things. So just want to let you know that, man, it's setting up just like it's supposed to. Y'all have a wonderful day and a better tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Y'all try to stay warm. That's good.